the immortal John Hancock here, and today's going to be a little bit different. I was just thinking about the three big game companies making consoles, and I'm always constantly thinking, gosh, I wish I could tell them how I feel about what they're doing. And so today is just simple. It's just a message to game companies. I'm going to focus on the companies making game consoles and the big three, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. And so this is something that I've wanted to do for a long time. I was kind of inspired by several magazines. I was flipping through some old magazines, and they would give game companies report cards of how they did for the holidays or how they think they're doing. And you know, I have some thoughts for all three game companies. And first off, I want to say that I don't believe that you know, I'm not like a fan of one over another. You know, I just love video games. I don't care who makes it, you know, and my collection represents that. And so I've been collecting a long time, over 25 years. I've been gaming a lot longer than that. You know, going on 35 years of gaming. And I have thoughts. I have thoughts about where the industry is. I have thoughts about really how game companies are doing, aside from sales, because sales come and go. But I think a perspective of a game company can really affect the future of it. And so this is really just a message to game companies in general moving forward. And I definitely would like to hear from people watching this and comment below their thoughts and their messages to game companies. And so let's start off with PlayStation. Now, Sony. I recently picked up a PlayStation 4 Pro, and I like it a lot. But honestly, to be completely honest, part of the PlayStation 4 Pro is the potential, not what it is. I think, in the most part, it was a mistake not bundling it with a game. Something I noticed that on shelves and stuff, you know, they have all these crazy bundles. You know, Xbox One is really getting aggressive with its bundles. Even the PlayStation 4 Slim with the Uncharted. You know, why couldn't you bundle, Sony? Why couldn't you bundle a game with a PlayStation 4 Pro? It doesn't make sense. I think it was a mistake. I think if you want people to care about an enhanced system, I think you should bundle it with something. I think bundling it with a game, especially like a digital download, really, it doesn't cost that much. You can do that. You can bundle it with a game. Don't be cheap. I think, Sony, I think you need to realize and understand why you got where you're at. You know, PlayStation's selling very well as a brand because it has a great game lineup, and there's nothing lying about that. It's got great hardware as well. But I think sometimes, Sony, you focus too much on hardware, and have recently focused too much on hardware versus software. A good example is that I think that's why I think Sony, you focused on having No Man's Sky as a selling game. It never was intended for that. Sony, I really want you to work on your game library and first party games. I think it's awesome you got some great indie game support, but honestly, that's not going to really sell systems. Your first party games are awesome. You have a great library. I want you to continue to focus on that versus hardware. Now, let's go on to VR. People know I'm not a big fan of VR. I'm not a big fan of VR because I don't think it's worth the $500 price tag. Oh, $400 if you have the Move and the camera, but not many people have that anymore. I'm not buying it at that. I know several other people, as I've walked around town and I've talked to game stores, have scoffed at that high price tag. Now, Sony, you can brag about having it sell more VR systems than the other two, but still, right now, unless the games are there, it's a novelty. And so, I would like you, Sony, to really focus on having quality games for your VR system if you're really serious about selling it to the masses. Right now, it's not there. I think you know that. Just continue to work on games for that. Other than that, just again remembering who you are. Why did you get to where you're at? You know, you crushed it with a PS2 with games. PS3 was a solid library with games, and so the PS4, no difference. And I want to thank Sony, because I'm far from hating Sony. I love Sony products. Grew up with Sony. Well, not really grew up with Sony, but grew up past high school with Sony, and I think you got some great products. But just remember who you are. By the way, you got an awesome menu bar system on your systems. Just amazing. All right, Microsoft. Microsoft, you need to continue to do what you're doing, is getting the bad taste of the Xbox One launch out of everybody's mouth. And so you're doing a great job with the backwards compatibility. Now, I know it's far from perfect. It only has 200 games, but the fact that you're even doing that is awesome. So thank you with that. I think with the many steps you're doing great. There's still always room for improvement. All three companies have room for improvement, and for you, Microsoft, I think you really have to work on getting more games for kids. This is something I could say about Sony as well, is that I look at the libraries, and there's tons of M-rated games, and it's just kind of silly. I think that both companies could do a better job at making more kids games. This is coming from a person who's 40 with kids. I don't play M-rated games around my kids, and honestly, I'm actually, the older I get, the less M-rated games I play. I play an occasional one, but really, as gamers get older, they're going to be playing games around their kids, and that's something that's important that the game companies know. So, and another thing too, Microsoft, I still hate your menu system. I don't know what it is. Like, Sony just knocked it out of the park with their standard media bar. I wish you could do something like that. I absolutely hate your menu system. It's better. It's better than it was, but it's not great. And just wanted to let you know that. And Minecraft is an awesome game. I think it's wonderful that you're partnering with other game companies, especially. I want to say that's a plus as well. But I want more games like that. Why can't you make another kids game? I know that you didn't create Minecraft, but you own it. So I'd really like to see that. Really like to see you work on more kids games. The Rare Replay collection was a great example. That was a good collection to play. There was a lot of kids games on there, and there was games on there that weren't for kids, but that's another story. So all right, so continue to do what you're doing. I think if I'm any concern is hopefully that you market the Xbox Scorpio, which is the system next year. Hopefully you take a nod from the PlayStation 4 Pro and take a cue and market that correctly. So I think that there is potential for some confusion there. So just a heads up, Microsoft. Hopefully you can market that correctly. Last and definitely not least, we get to Nintendo. Good old Nintendo. Well, actually, my rant here is actually probably targeted for Nintendo the most, and part of that is they kind of deserve it. I'm a huge Nintendo fan. Collected their stuff the whole time I've been collecting games. I love Nintendo, but part of being objective is realizing, liking something, but still able to look at it and say, okay, this is what's wrong with this. Nintendo, sometimes you're too conservative. I get why you did what you did with the NES Classic, but as much as you got a lot of free press about how cool the system is, you also got a lot of free press when everybody couldn't find one. So it works both ways. You can be too conservative on something and make a great product and try to gauge demand and then ship it, but that window of time for getting those out and before the holidays is shortening. So hopefully you got a game plan with that. I think it's a great product. I did a review on it. But, you know, the Black Friday has came and gone, and I didn't see any anywhere. On top of that special 3DS that you made for Black Friday, hopefully you can create more of those for the holidays. I think sometimes generating buzz about something and then not making enough equals frustration. So definitely that's something Nintendo, I think you need to work on. I think the opposite message for Nintendo is that sometimes you need to understand that adults like your games too. I think Nintendo, you focus so much on kids stuff and kids games that you forget that there's other game franchises that people want to play in your vast library. And I know it comes down to sales numbers. I get that, but you know, I think Mario and Zelda are heavily marketed. And Kirby. I am very, very disappointed with what you did with Metroid. Just playing a little bit of the Metroid Federation Force. For me personally, I think it's garbage, and I think it was a mistake. I don't know. It's, you know, sales numbers speak volumes, and it didn't sell, and the people spoke, and the people wanted a more traditional Metroid. I think it's cool they included Metroid on the NES Classic Mini, and hopefully with the Switch and moving forward, you can remember that people like that franchise, and you know, I'd like to see Nintendo really develop more games towards adults. And it doesn't mean you have to be violent or something inappropriate on kids, just something different other than Mario. I really think that another message to Nintendo with the Switch coming out in March, I think that's a mistake. I think launching the Nintendo Switch, your new console that technically is going to replace both the 3DS and the Wii U. I know they're not officially saying that. Of course they're not officially saying that. The 3DS and the Wii U are still on shelves. I think that's a terrible idea. And ultimately, if it doesn't sell, the real question to ask Nintendo, you need to ask yourself is it time to partner up with another company like Microsoft? I know Microsoft is publicly stated that they would like to have a Mario game on their console. That's a great idea. It's win-win. We'll see. That might be a separate conversation. And I think the other thing, talking about the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo, is I don't want a bunch of Wii U ports on my Nintendo Switch. I think it's great, but it's going to anger anybody who bought the Wii U to have to re-buy something on the Nintendo Switch to enjoy it. Easier said than done, but I hopefully that the Switch has its own exclusives that aren't ports. And I know there are going to be a bunch of ports. It's Nintendo. They're notorious for it. I know you're going to port a bunch, Nintendo, I know you're going to port a bunch of Wii U stuff over. Just don't have it everything, or it's going to anger people. I think the other thing, price point matters. Hopefully, the earlier reports is that the price point is at a good place, but you know, things are a lot different now. Hopefully that the product delivers. I'm still concerned about the small controllers possibly on the Nintendo Switch, but that's down the road. Nintendo, you know, the bottom line is it looks like you're going to be launching the system in March, and you have a game plan. But just understand that there's several people of all ages that enjoy your product, and please remember that. Making your products are great. One thing I need to praise Nintendo on is the quality. And, you know, actually all three companies have some great quality standards. I definitely can tell the difference when I buy a product from Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo versus third party. You know, I can tell, you know, the product is of good quality. So that's mostly it. I think, forgot Nintendo. I think not having a clearance sale on Wii U systems or having any type of sale on your games for the holidays in general. I know that there was game sales at particular places for your games, but overall, you know, nobody's really talking about your systems this holiday, and I think that's a mistake. A lot of the publicity that you got was about the NES Classic not being available, and you know, the Wii U price still at $300, knowing that it's discontinued, I think is a mistake. I think you should have clearanced those out. It would have been a great holiday conversation piece. And you know, I mean, I get it. I mean, maybe you don't want to sell more systems or clearance them out, but I don't know. I think that's a mistake. So, so I know I've said a lot about all three companies. What are your messages to the game companies? What would you like to say to them? This is just kind of a different format. I don't know how often I'll do this, or if I ever do this again, but it's something that I've been wanting to do for a while. And part of having a gaming channel is that I want to do some different things with it. I want to be able to do things. You know, I'm kind of in a unique perspective of just, you know, I'm not just a YouTuber, and I'm not just a collector, and I'm not just really fitting into one peg or another. And so, comment below what you think of this, and what do you think the message you would like to send to game companies. Again, this is I think the 150th video that I've done on my channel that I've kept up. I am amazed by the ongoing support. I want to continue to do these. You know, right now it's the holidays, and I have family visiting, and so I don't have a lot of time to do a heavy edit video. So I thought I'd just pop this up, and I'll continue to do 2 videos a week. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the comments and all the time that people have taken out of their day to look at my videos. Spread the word. Let's grow this channel. Thank you so much. This is the Immortal John Hancock, signing out.